So today we will discuss about the special characteristics of constructor and then we will move to the destructor part. So there are basically 12 special characteristics of constructor. So first of all, let me cover the first 6, then I will move on to the next 6. Okay. So first special characteristics of constructor is what? Constructor functions are invoked automatically when the objects are created. That we know that when the constructors are invoked when the object is created. So based on the type of the object, a constructor will be invoked. If the object is not having any parameter, then default constructor will be invoked, and if the object is having some parameter that is passed by the user inside it, then it will invoke the parameterized constructor. So at different situation, depending upon the object, the constructor will be invoked. But you remember that whenever we create object, then the constructor is invoked. Second one is, if a class has a constructor, each object of that class will be initialized before any use is made of that object. So if a class is having a constructor, then each object of that class will be initialized before the object is used in our main function. Means if we are having a class and it is having a constructor, so constructor is there, means we have to create an object of that class. And before using this object for any other operation, first the object needs to be initialized. And for the initialization of the object, the constructor comes into the action. Okay. Third one is, constructor functions obey the usual access rule. That is, private and protected constructors are available only for the member and the friend functions that we have already done in the earlier part, in the earlier lectures, that when the constructor function is used in the private or the protected section, then what happens? Only its member function and the friend function can only invoke that constructor. Okay, if it is under the private or the protected section. But if the constructor is defined under the public section, then what happens? It is available to all the functions. There is no hard and fast rule for that one if the constructor is defined under the public section. So you have to remember that if my constructor is defined under the public or the private, in the private or the protected section, then what happens? Only the member function and the friend function of that class can only access that constructor. No other non-member function can access it. But if the constructor is defined under the public section, then any function can invoke that constructor. Okay. Now number 4 is, no return type, not even void, can be specified for the constructor. We have seen in the previous examples also that whenever we give constructor, before the constructor we don't give any return type. Like the way we give in the function, suppose void func, we give for function int func, we give for function. But whenever we give any constructor, whenever we define any constructor, then we don't give any return type for that constructor. That we remember. That you remember. Okay. So this is the constructor. So before this constructor, we are not giving any return type. Okay. So no return type is there in the constructor. Fifth point is, they cannot be inherited. You remember that constructor cannot be inherited, although a derived class can call a base class constructor. In the base class, that we will discuss in the inheritance chapter, what is base class, what is inherited class. Base class means the parent class, and the derived class means the class which is inherited from the parent class or the base class. So if a constructor is defined in the base class, then from the derived class it can be called. From the derived class, the base class's constructor can be called. It can be called only, but the constructor cannot be inherited. That you remember. Okay. And sixth point is that a constructor may not be static. Okay. It is not like that a constructor will always be static. Like the way we have discussed in our previous lecture, that dynamic initialization of the object for a constructor. So constructor can be initialized statically also, dynamically also. Statically means in our code we pass the values of the parameters for the constructor, and dynamically means at the time of execution we pass the values to the constructor. Okay. Number 7, default constructors and copy constructors are generated by the compiler where needed. Means whenever there is a need for generating the copy constructor and default constructor, the compiler generates it. And parameterized constructor is generated when the user gives certain parameters when it creates an object of the class. So when a user creates object of a class and it passes parameters inside that object, it automatically invokes the parameterized constructor. Now the default constructor and copy constructor are generated by the compiler, and it generates the default constructor and copy constructor wherever needed. Suppose user has made one object, define one object for a class, and it has not passed any parameters, then the compiler will invoke the default constructor, and copy constructor will be invoked in such cases where the values of one object is copied to the values of another object. In such cases the copy constructor will be invoked. Okay. Now generated constructors are always public. So whenever the compiler will generate a constructor, it will always be in the public section. Number 8 is like other C++ functions, constructor can also have default arguments. We have seen in the previous one also, like if we define like this sample, which we are defining as a default constructor, and inside this we can pass certain default arguments like this. We can pass default argument like this, which means that if we are not assigning any value, if the user is not assigning any value during the defining of the object, suppose the user has not made any value, has not given any value when it has defined the object, so it will take the default argument value. Okay. Now number 9 is, it is not possible to take the address of the constructor. We cannot take the address of the constructor. It is not possible. This is the 9th characteristic. 10th one is, an object of a class with a constructor cannot be a member of the union. We have discussed union in our previous lectures also, that is in chapter number 1 we have discussed about union. So union is not a matter for us to discuss elaborately, but you just remember one thing, that if an object is there for a class with a constructor, then it cannot form a member for the union. 11 is, member functions may be called from within a constructor. Within a constructor, inside a constructor, you can call member functions. 12 is, a constructor can be used explicitly to create new objects. So in order to create new objects, we can explicitly define the constructor also. Likewise, we have seen in the calling of the constructor, that constructor can be called in 2 ways. One is implicit call, one is explicit call, that we have discussed. So at the time of explicit call, we give the name of the class also, and we give the name of the constructor also. So this is the example of explicit call, that constructors can be called implicitly also and explicitly also. For explicit call, first we have to write the name of the class, then object's name, then equals to symbol or assignment symbol, then the name of the constructor, and then we have to give the parameters list. Okay.